usually around this show when we're talking about stuff sliding and being slippery, it's not the couch.
No.
But this is a good thing. I love the slickery leather chairs and couch you have.
Yeah, I was trying to push myself over and I just didn't go anywhere. It was very strange. So, well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
It is 2019 and it's been weird because I remember being little and calculating how old I was going to be in the year 2000.
Oh, me too.
And 35 seemed ancient.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And now it is 19 years later.
I know.
And coming up in 3 months, I will have been selling dildos for a living for 30 years.
Oh my gosh.
But there was no, there was no plan. I just got here. It's just fascinating.
So even when you were, because I know you were in high school and college when your family started this business, did you really not think you'd end up working here?
I had no idea. I went into college completely and utterly clueless.
Really?
No idea what the hell I was going to do.
You were just going to finish college.
And honestly, there wasn't the industry around college and internship. I just don't remember it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
So you never had this one big, huge thing that you said, oh, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that?
No, I have. I mean, my daughter's going through this whole process right now. And it's right now at age 18, she's supposed to plan her entire rest of her goddamn life. Mm-hmm. I was completely clueless. I mean, I had no idea what the hell I was doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just don't remember the industry that was around getting into school and doing stuff or just different things. And it's just weird. And this plant is in my.
I know. I was sitting there wondering about that.
Why is this plant in my? Oh, I was cleaning. No one of the plants over there.
Plant, by the way, but it's rather prickly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So did you do anything super fun for New Year's?
Dinner. Went over to a friend's house. Then drove around to some stores in the middle of the night, and because we needed to be able to do, want to finish up the year, do all that stuff.
Sure.
Not particularly. I mean, honestly, driving around the Twin Cities about 2:00 in the morning.
On New Year's Eve.
I didn't see that many cars, which I was really surprised. So, and it's just so peaceful, and you have the roads all to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, we spent it with friends. We did a house thing because I don't like to go out on New Year's Eve. And it was very, very fun.
Yeah.
We had a really good time. So, yeah, I mean, the whole holiday season, it was a great holiday season. It was just, I think this is honestly the busiest year I've ever had, at this time of year. Normally there's some sort of a lull.
No. There was no lull. There was just stuff.
Do you guys don't have a lull at Christmas either because you're retail.
Yeah, retail. There's just, and honestly, the week between Christmas and New Year's is actually really busy for us. So we don't even get the, and at least we don't deal with returns.
That's what I was going to say. It's not returns like everybody else is dealing with.
Mm-hmm. No.
Well, I found this. I wish I would have found it a week earlier, but I didn't. There's so funny. So the brand Love Honey is
it's a UK company.
Right.
It does stuff, I guess, similar to ours. I've never actually, gone to their website or, I'm sure they have pictures of their locations and stuff.
Yeah. No, I mean, they're real popular over there. And there is a site that I do find some pretty funny threads. It's called Mumsnet. And it's, it's when they're up at 2:00 in the morning, because the kid won't go to sleep. And just the stuff that they talk about is pretty entertaining. And the site kind of ran one of those analytics where they could tell. They found that Love Honey came up, enough. So they got with Love Honey and they did a contest that said, what would you do with a 100-pound certificate, to the stores? And it was pretty cute what came up. I mean, there wasn't anything. You ran this gamut from, I want latex clothing. My husband loves it when I wear that. So this person is clearly a veteran, right? But then you'd get people saying, I might be able to match if I got some great lingerie, I might be able to match my pants to my bra for once, which would really be pushing the boat out. And they would.
I have access to just crap tons of lingerie at wholesale or distributor cost. Yeah, my everyday stuff, Target.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially since I started wearing leggings, because then you need the appropriate underwear.
Yes, there's a trick to that. But it was pretty funny. I mean, a lot of these people, and they're so cute because they've either just been mired in child rearing and they're so busy and so tired, but yeah, it's a pretty cute show.
I have friends that have children that are in their late 20s now and parents, and I have friends that have kids that are just a little under 2.
Oh, wow.
Because it's just, when people, are able to, when they started their families. And it's just, all of the folks that have older kids now are like, woo, we still don't stay out late, but we can at least get together and see each other more.
Which is nice.
But honestly, I think I may have mentioned this before, that earlier this fall, I tried to get together with a group of guys, and it took us about 4 days to pick a day and actually show up. Okay. I tried to get together with 2 groups of women, and it was like 4 to 6 weeks to try and figure out, like herding kittens, where we could all get together.
Yeah.
Mainly because most of the women were busy figuring out how to get kids from point A to point B too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was hilarious.
Yes. The child shuttling thing is quite perplexing to those of us who do not have to do that. It's something else. But we'll put that thread up for you if you want to see it. I've never seen the show Botched. Have you ever seen that? It's about plastic surgery.
No. I mean, put it this way, even if I had cable, or maybe, all I know is it could be on a streaming service. There is no way in hell I would watch that.
Yeah. I've never watched it, but the promos come on. So I feel like I've definitely seen enough just from the ads for it. So the show is mentioned in a story about this gal named Natasha Crown. She's 25 years old, and she is trying to unseat, no pun intended, the world's biggest butt, who the woman currently who holds that record. Just think about this for a minute. Her ass is 7 feet around. So like if you go, like around your hips.
Yeah, I know, but what?
7 feet.
Why?
Well,
I know that there are very, very large people in this world, generally for medical reasons. They have difficult times and stuff like that. And I've seen promos for shows that said like my 800-pound life or something like that. And I'm pretty sure they're pretty wide around. But they're working. They're consciously going. Oh yeah. For a 7. Okay.
Yeah. So she's up to 6.5 feet, 80 inches around her ass. And she piled on a bunch of weight to be able to get the fat to inject into her ass. She has a staggering 4,500 cc's of fat in each butt, the equivalent of 5 liters. And she was on Botched, and she said, that has nothing to do with my butt. Actually, she feels that her breasts are sagging. She had those done a long time ago. So she needed to get those.
People have. I would put that in as a fetish. You know what I mean? Yeah. A fetish doesn't have to be sexual. We assume that, but it doesn't. But that's just fascinating. What people. At least I'm seeing more about be happy about your body. You are. Don't give people crap that are trying to make their bodies better if they show up at the gym in January. Hey, support them. Don't yell. Don't, feel like they're encroaching on your space. You went for the first time once, right? I sort of get that, shaping your body. That's really quite fascinating. Yeah. How do you clothe yourself that way?
I don't know. She says she's a size 50. I really don't know what that means. Honestly.
And obviously, there's nothing about obviously she said her boobs are sagging, but there's nothing that particularly proportionate about that, I can't imagine. If you're injecting. Yeah. That's someone that, that really wants their 15 minutes of fame? Is there a disorder of some sort? Yeah. I'm very confused.
Yeah, I am too. So there you go. 7 feet is what she's trying to beat. So there's another story about orgasms, and there's some interesting statistics, which I thought was worth mentioning in today's Great Northern Sexcast.
I like a good orgasm. I can't say that word. Statistic.
Statistic.
Now that I have fucked it up, it is not coming out correctly. No.
I know. So there was a study recently published in the Journal of Sex Research. 67% of women admitted that they have faked it at one point or another.
Only 67%?
I know. I was a little surprised. But I think these two numbers are very interesting. The first one doesn't surprise me. That's 95% of men say that they orgasm, or men report, I beg your pardon, orgasming 95% of the time. That sounds right to me. Women are saying 65%. I almost feel like that's high based on how much people lie about it. You know what I mean?
Well, they could be getting... okay, it is 2019. There are folks that are more comfortable talking about sex and more comfortable asking about sex, and you're just and the idea that females are want and should demand pleasure, and that it's perfectly reasonable is growing. And stuff like that. So I can see that number, going up, because now they're at least willing, even if they're not doing it, they're willing to, they're willing to say that, yes, I have an orgasm, going through there. I know that's a little weird, but only 60. I don't know. It's still too low. Need more.
It gets better though. There's more. So this is kind of funny. There was a separate U.S. study saying a quarter of husbands thought their wives were orgasming when they weren't, but 43% misperceived how often their wives reached climax. So they are, significantly ignorant to actually what's going on.
But the thing is that you can have a really good time without an orgasm.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, for guys, probably not as much because they've been conditioned, and it's sort of how well, like procreation and, survival of the species happens. For guys, they need that. But they get a perfectly reasonable time without the big O. Yeah. Going through there.
Well, this one woman quoted, she's a sex educator. Her name is Alex Fox. And she said, this is a feminist issue. There are too many women out there who don't feel empowered and confident to openly and honestly express what they want in bed. Instead, they're approaching sex as a performance designed just to please men, which I don't necessarily disagree with.
Yeah, I mean, the male happiness is higher than female comfort. It's always put forward that way. You could be tired or could feel pain or this or that or, awkwardness and stuff like that. But study after study shows that keeping guys happy to the detriment of women is pretty much what we're. So why wouldn't it be any different in sex?
Yeah. Well, and finally, a couple other notes on here. Lesbians reported in a Kinsey study that was taken in 2017, which is no longer last year. Isn't that weird?
I actually wrote the date several times today, and I got it right every time. But now that means I'll probably blow it for like the next month.
I know, especially since you pointed it out.
Yeah.
Because now you've just
now I've jinxed myself, yeah.
But lesbians said they reported having a real orgasm 86% of the time during sex, as opposed to 65% for straight women. So,
well, if you got the parts, you know how to probably work them better.
Well, not only that, but
familiarity, confidence, communication.
Well, the last line by Alex Fox was, if we want to improve sex, we've got to stop making it our sole goal to put a pole in the hole. That's hard to say. Stop making it our sole goal to put a pole in a hole. Thank you. Say that 3 times fast. That almost sounds like something you would sing in preschool or not. I'm just saying. Don't put me on the registry, please.
No.
Okay. I've been wondering about this.
Okay.
And
what did you find out?
Well, I'm not. It's as bad as I was afraid it would be.
Okay.
So that's why I'm. I probably never looked too hard. I never fired up the Google machine. What vaginal rejuvenation entails? There are many. I probably reach for the phone to Google a piece of information, every couple of hours? Something occurs to you, and you're like earlier, we were wondering that if you can be discombobulate, is there bobulate or bobulation? Tara was looking that up, and actually I don't know the answer because I wandered away to go use the restroom. Oh, is there
I don't know.
Bobulated?
We're wondering. Yeah, we haven't looked it up. So
combobulated.
Whatever it is. So we did not know that earlier, and then I wandered away, and then I never came.
Wait, what was the answer answer though.
I don't know.
You couldn't find
so
it.
now you're all Tara went and looked, and I don't know if she found it because I had to go use the restroom.
Oh God! So you like left it hanging out there?
It's hanging. It's just out there. Okay. And now I'm going to have to Google. But really, if I would have, out of all the times that we've talked about things that women do to their vaginas, I generally don't Google it. See, I leave that to you. I don't need to know more.
So it's my
It's your responsibility to find out. Because I mean, okay, sometimes I do, but this would be something that I would go, no.
Well,
speaking of like that, no.
Yeah. Well, I haven't gone quite so far as to actually research it, but I did pull this story. So here's the thing.
We're having a thing. Okay.
It's as bad as I thought it was going to be. These treatments can range from about $200 to about $700. Okay, not surprising. And they involve having hyaluronic acid injected into your vaginal tissue. Now, sometimes women do this to make their lips fluff up a little bit. You know, maybe they've dropped, maybe they've gotten a little saggy as they've gotten what she's laughing.
Wait, but you're talking, is this the same stuff they use for like facial lip plumping?
I do not believe so.
Oh, okay.
Because they talk about this. This is a naturally occurring substance that comes in the body that they inject into the vaginal tissue. They claim to work by strengthening and filling out the front wall of the vagina itself. And they, in addition to being marketed to help puff up and improve the appearance of the labia, they also say it can improve lubrication appearance and even boost your sex life. Now, a lot of women say that because they think it looks better, they feel better, so their confidence is up. But here comes the big but, which was in the previous story.
Sure, yes. Mm-hmm.
The really big but is that they haven't really done enough peer-reviewed work on the long-term safety and efficacy of the procedures. They don't know what the risks or long-term consequences might be. So there's a significant portion of the OBGYN community that is very skeptical. What are your thoughts?
I know that in the land of medicine, that if something is approved for one use on the body, you can use it. Doesn't need to go through the studies to be used in another part of the body. For the most part, I'm probably sure there's exceptions, but that's why there's. I used to be when I was having a difficult time with a cramping bladder, I was on a medication called Flomax, which was only studied on men. And so it would confuse. So now they were using it for women's bladder issues, and so and it was confused the hell out of the pharmacist when I went to go get it.
I bet.
But so obviously this product is used someplace else, and then someone went, well, if we can inject it in body part A, why not put it down in body part V? Let's put it that way.
Yes.
But it just. It might help. Think about it. It could help with not only just sex, but maybe urination and bowel movement if you're tightening up everything down there in the walls.
I suppose.
Well, but I don't know.
Let's just break it down here. Do you want to have your vagina pricked and stabbed?
Okay, I've never. Honestly, I've had a mesh sling put in, and I've had stuff, and it all goes through the vagina.
Were you awake?
Oh no, I was out completely out. It was surgery.
This is.
And I've never actually given birth, so it's not as though I've had things ripped and torn and stretched out of shape.
Yeah. Well,
but I've got enough GI issues, urinary issues that if I could tighten, and I've done some things to tighten that up.
Well, I suppose you and I both know anecdotally that is an incredibly resilient and area of the body. So, oh my, okay. Well,
but I think a few more. More studies would be nice. Yeah,
I don't want to get stabbed. I'm sorry. Just no. Some people might like that. Good for you. I'm not into it. Did you know? I did not know this. That the very first trans woman got into the finals at the Miss Universe pageant recently. Oh, did you know that?
I just not really paid attention to
don't watch that stuff.
Miss Universe. The only thing I do occasionally see is they have usually stories about the national costume part, and most of them are huge monstrous feather-laden costumes, which are hilarious to look at.
Oh, yeah.
That is, I mean, honestly, that's the best part.
For sure.
So if they just had one, there's got to be something going on with the national costumes, which is the best part.
For sure. So I guess that trans people have been allowed into the pageant since 2012. So that's,
Now, honestly, if that's true, then I would, the person who helps them with the surgery, whatever surgery, and the person that is their trainer and that's who I would want. If I was going to have any surgery and I was going to be, trans woman, I want the person or the people, the teams that worked on someone that made it to the Miss Universe pageant. Mm-hmm. Because those are that's some pretty highly. There goes my voice.
Yeah, you okay?
There's some pretty highly stereotypic, visions of femininity and what that is, and obviously they did an excellent job.
Clearly, she did not make the top 20, but she did make the finals because there's a lot of people in this one because it's worldwide.
Yeah.
But she was really, really happy. Her name is Angela Ponce. I don't know how you pronounce it. Ponce. I don't know. But she was Miss Spain.
Miss Spain. But yeah, I was about to.
And she said she really did this because she was there to represent diversity. She's 27 years old. And, so there you go. But that was pretty interesting. So that made news this week.
So in other words, there's some excellent Spanish physicians.
God, clearly.
Well, that's because they're happy because there's excellent Spanish food. So, if you live in a culture that has amazing food, I think you're going to, have amazing other things because people are just going to be so damned happy.
Now, I know you went to Spain. What did you think was so good over there food-wise?
Every bit of the food. I mean, I was there when I was younger and I was going and college dorm food sucks no matter where you are.
Right.
So since I was a little bit older when I went, I would just wander the streets, find a restaurant, and I had a squid or octopus that was sort of cooked in its own ink and stuffed. That was one of the most amazing things. And then the hams and all the things that are not, that are prepared differently, and they can't even ship them here because of our rules. It was delicious. The cheese, the meat, and the seafood. I'm surprised I ever got to class. All I wanted to do was eat the foods,
and
it was it was just delicious.
Okay, all right. So good to know because that's on my list. Spain is. So from trans woman in the Miss Universe contest to the banning of gingerbread men and being replaced with gingerbread persons in the UK. Did you hear about this?
No, I've seen plenty.
They don't have anything on them anyway.
No,
I mean, they're already like
they're completely neuter.
They're
asexual.
But
there's the word men in it. Yeah, I mean
the people that are born with what are those called? They're
well, they're not hermaphrodites. They're not both parts.
Hermaphrodite. Oh, they have both.
They have both.
Okay.
These are just neutral.
Yeah.
Oh, the pupsters got on the sofa today.
Finally, it's been a while.
I know. I get some doggy snuggles. There's still about a foot between us. You got to scooch over here.
Well. He's like all excited. Yeah. So basically, it was the Scotch Parliament that banned it. And God. It's just
sometimes I think folks, they're like, okay, we can tackle this really, really difficult thing over here, or we can rename pastry. And they probably didn't want to tackle the really difficult thing over here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
now I want a cookie.
Yeah, I know.
Damn. See, that's the thing is now I want a cookie. Oh, I ate so many cookies.
So a lot of people were ticked off about this, including but not limited to people who deal with the trans community, and said this really does kind of trivialize real issues of gender equality. And other people, had their different.
Out of all your battles to pick, I'm pretty sure that ginger cookies is not one of them that it needed anyone go near.
Well, what cracks me up is, I guess, the Twitter storm over there. One guy said, "It's not fucking sexism; it's a bloody biscuit."
Yeah. There's Scottish swearing.
Oh, they're
is
awesome.
At a level that is beyond anything or insult or that. I mean, they have to be number one on the planet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just. I mean, in fact, I enjoyed there were certain tweets in November of 2016 that were really fascinating to me. And I actually got a thank you note and sent it to the Scottish consulate in DC here, because I needed to thank them for enlarging my vocabulary. It was just beautiful. It's some of the most amazing words in the world. Yeah.
Perfect. I think that this next story, I think this is absolutely genius. This woman has, and she's 21, single mom, funded Christmas this year by earning $2,532 to be specific, by selling pictures and videos of her feet to fetishists.
I am so jealous of these people that figure out that. I mean, because really, there's got to be probably tens of thousands of people putting pictures of her feet or his feet or whatever. There goes my voice again. On the internet. But how did these particular people? I mean, what's the tipping point?
Because there's a lot of good-looking feet out there.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of people who do makeup videos, and there's a ton of people who do a lot of stuff out there in internet land. How in the? I mean, I'm fascinated by that. What is it that makes your cat or your feet or your makeup tutorial or your baking thing or your frosting thing, whatever the hell it is,
that takes off,
that takes off and gets millions of views?
Yeah.
I mean, excellent. I mean, good. Yeah.
I
wonder if anyone.
She's a direct care worker by day, but she also does go on dates that are just completely about her feet. It's not, she doesn't do actual sex. But yeah, she has done really well, and she's trying to expand her business. Some of the things that they've asked her for, I've got to read these to you. So,
okay.
A lot of people want her to play in oil or splash her toes in water. That's very typical. She says she's been asked to go to and she charges more for special services, like going to the grocery store, buying cucumbers, eggplant, and tomatoes, and to rub the feet on the vegetables in videos. I know.
I said, I make a reasonable living, but sometimes I think I'm in the wrong business.
I know.
Why? I mean, oh my God.
I would totally rub vegetables on my feet for money.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have no problem. I am honestly a little jealous.
Yeah. Oh, I'm totally envious. Okay. So it's another. She says she gets frequently asked to write their names on her feet in a Sharpie with a Sharpie. One guy asked for music like in a spa, they wanted a video with spa music, and then she said, so far the most I've made for a video was $150, where I was just walking around and dancing in my bare feet. And it's really, I think they're only shot. There's no, whatever. So I thought that was pretty funny. Oh, wow. And it's an annual tradition of some of the best naughty elf on a shelf things.
My brother and sister-in-law on their on the New Jersey Fantasy Gifts Instagram and Facebook, they have an elf that they are. I don't know who made it, but somebody made a tiny little harness and made a little tiny dildo for the elf. It is hilarious.
That's genius. The three that won this year the most votes were an elf hugging a dildo, an elf being arrested and bent over a car by a cop, and an elf with a severed Santa head.
I'm telling you, go online to the Fantasy Gifts New Jersey Facebook site, and you will see much better elves.
Okay. Perfect. So, I this story made me think of Michael, who worked here for many moons and has since moved to Florida with his husband. And I remember him talking about all his years in working for Fantasy Gifts and talking to customers and helping them find things. And we touch on this, quite a lot, how knowledgeable, all of your people are.
I got dozens of lovely reviews in the month of December about how lovely everybody was.
Yeah.
It's such a thrill. Because generally people take time to be all negative and stuff on the internet, and I'm getting just a ton of lovely comments.
That's great. I'm glad to hear. Well, I thought it was funny. I think I asked him, for some of his observations, over the years, and one day he said that he found it shocking how much women like anal sex. I remember him being just astounded by this. And I think we found the article that explains why. There's, we all know about the G spot, right? Mm-hmm. But there's the A spot. I know we've kind of talked about this. Have you heard about the A spot at all?
No, that's new. I just took like about 1,000 pictures of your dog.
Okay, perfect. That's the studio dog. You can
mm-hmm.
put him on. You can put him on our Facebook
but
site.
I was trying to do it and hold the microphone. So one of them, I think there was a burst. I have no idea how many were actually just taken.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, Fred likes to have his picture taken. He's a cutie patootie. Mm-hmm. Dr. Chua Chi. First
Chachi? Chachi?
Johnny loves Chachi. No, Chua Chi.
Okay, two different.
Yeah. Okay. So the A spot is he named it. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's an area of sensitivity located in the internal part of your clitoris, right at the back of the vagina. So,
because it's a big Y-shaped. And
it's like about 5 inches.
Yeah.
And it goes up into your body, which is roughly the size of the average penis. Isn't that how they make penises for trans people?
I do know that there is some sort of surgery and enlargement, and if you're on the testosterone, the clit and everything does expand.
So they probably okay. Mm-hmm. So I kind of known about that. Okay. So we all know that the orgasm has something to do with the clitoris. So blah blah blah. But the A spot's full name is the anterior fornix erogenous zone, and it can be stimulated during anal sex, busting the myth that anal sex is not pleasurable for the receiver. So during anal, for example, the penis or sex toy can stimulate the A spot by pushing against the rectum and vagina wall, which is where the pleasure point is found. And they said if you're not a fan of anal, you can still stimulate that. You enter through the vagina and look for the hard spot in the back by the cervix, and where you can't go any further and work around there. So
that's probably in several. We do have several really good. If you're curious about anal sex, pegging, anything like that, books on that. Tara picks them up and rotates the the stock in the stores on that. And judging by the just insane amount of anal toys we sell to everyone. It's been, it was like 15 years ago where we sent a whole bunch of stuff down to Burnsville and they just went, woo, more butt stuff. It was just, it's become, and I know that, some folks are just probably still grimacing, but it's rather ordinary.
Yeah.
It's going through
anymore.
there. Yeah. And especially, there's a whole bunch of different lubes because they're thicker, so they're not running around, running all over the place where you don't want it to be. Mm-hmm. And I think people are really understanding, maybe because there's more in movies, more things going on, that you just don't shove something in there that it takes a little bit more work.
It's not supposed to be there.
It's not supposed to be there. But you do need lube. You do need foreplay. You do need to... you don't just put something in anyone's ass. It doesn't have the lubrication of a vagina or a mouth or anything like that. And so I know by the amount of thicker lubes that we sell and the toys that we sell that it's really rather ordinary.
Yeah.
Which is sort of fun because, sex is fun.
Yeah.
All sex is fun.
Oh, for sure. I thought this was funny. A guy, he's 24, was in a store like a variety store, and he found this thing called the marshmallow booty, and it was kind of a sweet shaped like the back of a woman with a cute pair of underwear. And he thought, oh, that'd be fun to buy for his girlfriend for Christmas. So he did the self checkout thing, and the thing went off and said, "This is a this is the thing that this product needs approval." And somebody had to come over and cart him to sell him the marshmallow thing. And he was like, really? He pulled his, he did. And he said, I wasn't rude or anything, but this isn't like alcohol. Hello? He was a little bit surprised. I thought
it was a marshmallow butt. And it's going through there. And if it's at a dollar store or a discount store, and it's out there. I understand why I card folks, because we do have replica items and, movies in the store, and the state of Minnesota says that if you're under 18, you don't get to see these things. Mm-hmm. Not my, So I don't, and they don't differentiate between a 1 day old and a 17-year, 364 day old. They just don't. It's all the,
So you cannot take a baby in.
No. Well, first of all, I have stuff hanging all over the place. No, there are no babies. If you're giving birth, go outside. Because honestly, the law does not differentiate, and I don't need someone getting all upset about that. Plus, I also don't need small children running around, and it makes folks uncomfortable.
To see children.
Yeah, and they're just, I've got hooks that are down low and all sticky. I mean, I love children, but they are sticky and moist.
Oh, for sure. Well, let me ask you this, because, I've been in the stores, but I don't ever recall. Is there signage on the door? What does it say?
It says, due to the personal nature of our merchandise, you have to be over 18. Please have your ID ready.
Okay, but what if somebody comes in carrying a baby? And
we ask them to, they're just saying, no, wait, sorry. Because I don't want my clerks to have to make judgment calls over this kid's okay and that kid's not okay.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
No kids in the store. Just nope. And yeah, it makes some people cranky. And I'm like, if you don't like it, you can get a hold of your Minnesota State representatives and get them to change the law.
Yeah.
I'm just, no.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. So this story has massive duh factor, in my opinion,
okay.
That's coming up. There's apparently a SMILF TV show, and if you don't know right off the top of your head what a SMILF is, it's a single mom I'd like to fuck, okay? Mm-hmm. We knew MILF, but now it's SMILF. Mm-hmm. So there's this creator of a show called, her name is Frankie Shaw, and the show does have conversations about women abuse. They kind of try to acknowledge the Me Too movement and all of this other kind of thing. But some of her staffers and people that were involved with the show say that she's kind of a hypocrite, because there have been many complaints about how sex scenes were handled improperly. Writers were separated by race. That's interesting. And the set was really tough. And there's one actress who said, she had a no nudity clause, and then they tried to pressure her on the set to take off her clothes. And this producer lifted up her own skirt, said, "See, what's the big deal?" and flashed everybody, which even if you're filming with sex, that's different. No, that's weird, right?
Yeah, if they've got the rules. So this is where is this show? Is it on?
It's ABC Studios, but I don't think it airs on ABC. It's got to be somewhere else. I have never run across it.
Yeah, just because, and we have this problem at the stores. Just because I sell risque items, sexual health items, stuff like that, does not mean that you get to be inappropriate in your actions or words in my stores.
Yeah.
It's the same thing happens here.
Yeah.
I know. It's really, occasionally we get, there's an email or a message thing, because we got that stuff, and we're like, okay, is this person being serious, or is this person just having fun? The comments start veering into creep mode.
Oh, okay.
And we just shut that down really fast. There are valid questions about things that sometimes people are a little bit awkward, don't know how to ask. Mm-hmm. They don't have the vocabulary yet. But we will answer back with the correct vocabulary. Mm-hmm. And if they continue, then we know how they're saying things. We're just no, that's bye. And they're just gone, blocked, bye-bye. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Boy, talk about an epic blunder.
Okay.
This next, so there's this site called, wait a second here. There's a site, it's Cool Cleveland is what it's called. And it promotes the city, events and things like that. And there's those for every city. And all that
on one of our road trips, we stayed in Cleveland overnight and went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which I actually was really quite fascinating. Mm-hmm. If you're in the area, I would take time to go. I am sort of an American history buff, and that's all part of it. It's really fascinating, and they've done a whole thing. Sort of reminds me of downtown St. Paul. Oh. But they've got a ballpark nearby, and then the museum, and at a hotel that used to be this ancient bank. It hadn't been turned down, hadn't been torn down, and so it had all the great 1920s, 30s, or whatever, architecture and stuff like that.
Oh, fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I have a friend that just moved to Cleveland, so I'm kind of curious to go. Never been there. But apparently, Cool Cleveland was trying to make a joke about an upcoming Gingerbread house building event and made what appeared to be a joke reference to that House of Horrors case where those 3 women were held captive for 10 years.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, okay. And so referencing the area's recent housing crisis and all these empty houses, the now deleted post said, many end up becoming dens for cracker addicts. In one notorious case, 3 missing gingerbread women were found held as gingerbread sex slaves for 10 years while the gingerbread police remained baffled.
Yeah.
And they apologized and, took it down. And, oh, my God. And can you
I don't.
How is that funny?
I know that there are some folks that say that there's really nothing off limits for jokes, and I guess to some extent, people are, you can try and joke about it, but the skill level that you have to pull off certain things, it is a very small amount of human beings.
Yeah, and
this is just making fun of victims.
Yeah,
and at no point is that ever funny. It's. I mean, how you would even come up with a joke on that, I have no idea.
No, some of the best people got George Carlin, God rest his soul. I don't know if he could even come up with something that would work there. Yeah. So pretty bad. This is such a weird. You got to check this. We got to post this story on Great Northern Sex Cast's Facebook page. You got to read this. Mm-hmm. It's a very serious article about them trying to change the laws in Britain to legalize, basically, BDSM. 25 years ago, there was a case there called Brown, and they said that ruled that there was no public interest in allowing individuals to consent to injuries during sadomasochistic encounters. And so they're appealing this right now. And
that would have been when Thatcher and stuff was in power, right? Yeah, they were pretty. Yeah,
no. It would have been after
Thatcher. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
But and they're fighting it really hard. And since the 50 Shades of Grey sort of mainstreamed some of it and all of that, but this story is quite long. But it talks about the arguments that they're having and how really difficult this is proving to be. And there's
because it's almost impossible to for a politician to say, I don't care about this, because you're going to look like you're people don't understand what it is. And so it's sort of like trying to get the laws in this country against sex toys or this or that. Nobody, very few people will come out and say, I don't, sex toys are just fine. Mm-hmm. It's going through there. But I mean, to this day, U.S. Adult films, I don't know what's going through there. You can show people being tied up and insulted, but you can't show someone tied up having sex. That has been considered obscene.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So just really quickly though, there's a couple of cases mentioned in here. Here's one. August of last year, a man admitted gross negligence manslaughter after stabbing a woman in the neck during S&M sex. I'm pretty much guessing
that has nothing to do with it.
Yeah. And then another one pleaded guilty to actual bodily harm after engaging in what he argued was consensual S&M. So
I don't understand how these two.
You would think, but I don't know. Read the article. It's quite,
I'm going to have to do that because it's going through there, and that's, that's just, the fact that they were tied up when they had the sex, the type of sex you were having is the fact that has nothing to do with it. I mean, I'm going to have to read that.
Yeah, it's really confusing, and it's like, oh, this looks very sticky.
Yeah, I mean, an extra layer. I mean, these people do need to be prosecuted just for causing someone bodily harm. The BDSM has nothing to, unless they were trying to get out of it by saying the other person said it was okay. But that's not, no.
Yeah. Okay, this last story makes me laugh.
Oh, okay.
And, I mean, I don't know. I do have to give major creativity points here. Mm-hmm. So this guy, his name is Ted Pelkey. He lives in Vermont. And he runs an auto shop with his son. And he's got a very large parcel of property. And he wants to build this 8,000 square foot garage because he wants to run his auto shop through there and not have to drive 25 miles each way to do it. He wants to put it on his own property. And he's been battling with local officials over getting a building permit for a very, very, very long time. And so finally, he had a sculpture made, which is a 700-pound illuminated wooden middle finger. And he has it prominently displayed. He paid $4,000 for this thing. It was completed on November 30th, and it is on top of a 16-foot pole on his front lawn. And
it's art.
Yep. And billboards are banned in Vermont, but this is considered art.
I saw like a glimpse of the headline. I didn't have a chance to get into it, and I went, for what I read, I went, oh great, I think he should build two.
Well, you've had your own scuffles.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure they're probably giving him some zoning or whatever, but that's got to be so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine why they wouldn't want to build. I mean, it's not how an 8,000 square foot building can cause any issues. I don't think it's right unless it's in a pristine forest or a wildlife area, but I didn't see any. Just glancing at skimming it, I did not see any of that.
Yeah, they just don't want him to do it. Somebody's got to bug up their ass, and they have the power and all that good stuff. Well, I hope he does. I hope he gets another one made, and I hope he wins.
He could probably make. He needs to sell like a small, like little statues of it and stuff like that.
That would be and we could all buy them to support his cause and his legal battle. Well, happy 2019.
2019 is just fascinating. I don't know. It's sort of fun to say. I swear it was just the turn of the century.
Oh,
it's just totally blowing my mind.
I know. Well, and next year, 2020, is going to be, it's such a space agey looking number. You know what I mean?
I know.
Very Jetsons.
I did not check this out. But Sean Connery was in a movie called Zardoz, in which he wore sort of this leather and red bikini thing, and it's really bad. And supposedly it was set in 2019. Now, I have not Googled it to find out.
Oh, best we check.
But if you're familiar with this, it is and he has like knee-high boots and he's shirtless and there's it is hilarious.
Sean Connery.
It's one of his first roles a zillion years ago, whatever. Yeah. In this movie, this futuristic film called Zardoz or whatever, or his name is Zardoz. I don't know. But supposedly that was in 2019. Okay.
Oh my. Well, best we all run and check.